Griffin the Griffin by BlackWing. Chapter 10 Training. Poof! I let out a puff of air as I fell onto the ground, Gilda putting her claw in my throat. Alright, I give. You really are good at this. That's what now, 16-3? She smirked as she let me up. 17-5, actually. I thought you said you were good at this, she mocked me. I mean, you're a dude, so you have more muscles. And you said you had to fight before you got here. What happened? Well, for starters, I used to walk on two legs. It's this body. I could weave around my enemies before because I was a lot more graceful. Dance classes. Yeah, I know they're lame. Laugh it up. This body is stronger, can fly, and has claws, but there's a lot more bulky. That, and I have to go on all fours, which means oftentimes my claws aren't free. And going on my hind legs is no good because I'll have them cut right out from underneath me, and make myself a bigger target for ranged attacks. I have no hand-to-hand experience with this form, and no quadrupeds from my world have martial arts for me to watch. That does, however, mean that if we come up against some kind of ninja diamond dog, they won't stand a chance because I've seen it all already. It's like I was born and raised to fight the mutts. And that's why we're doing this, she said as she pinned me for the 18th time. Yup. After she had beaten me 30 or so times, we took a break to eat. I drew the clams from the bucket, filled the pot with water from a nearby river that fed into the ocean, and had Gilda start the fire on the beach. I had taught her how to find and use flint, which she swore when we got back to the Dominion that she was going to show everybody. Also, as a side note, only ponies, sheep, cows, and donkeys say every pony. Griffins, diamond dogs, and dragons that aren't raised by recluse unicorns say everybody or everyone. This made adjusting a lot easier, and no pony would question my word selection. You know, these claws are beyond useful. It's like having razor-sharp little knives that are good for everything from combat to cooking, I commented as I sliced some of the vegetables. I added the clam meat to the cream-based broth first to let it cook thoroughly, followed by potatoes for richness, and finally chives for flavor. I let it simmer for a couple minutes before pulling out some bowls and spoons we had gotten in Manhattan since they were cheap. Alright, dig in. I ate heartily, which Gilda picked at it, not actually eating. Come on, we had them in a bucket overnight so there's no sand or salt, and it won't be chewy because they're cooked. It's really good. Finally, Gilda took a real mouthful this time, and her eyes went wide in shock at the taste. It was good, to say the least. Better than raw venison by any measure. She threw her silverware into her backpack and gulped the chowder down, eating straight from the bowl. This is fantastic! Where'd you learn to make this? She demanded. Library. Not this one back home. I was planning on surviving in the wild, so I needed to know how to cook. And I had been on vacation a couple times to the southern beaches. My parents didn't want me to come along to ruin their holiday, but they were afraid I'd burn the house down. No concern if I'd be okay. Well, when we finish our round trip, it looks like I'll have a couple new tricks to show everyone. It may not be flawless, but this will certainly help out to the starvation problem. I mean, there were so many of these things. We only had to dig for a minute to get enough, she exclaimed. That's because they were unknown up till now. They multiplied like mad without anyone digging them up. Also means that our army will never march on an empty stomach. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Stalingrad is a day away by air and with all this gear. So now that our bellies are full, let's get a move on. I had become a much better flyer in that time. Gilda, being faster normally, flew in front, letting me watch how she flew, as well as get a glimpse of her rear end every now and then. Dang it, Griffin, get a hold of yourself. Now is not the time to be thinking about that. Still, I was getting better. I could carry more weight. I started hauling more and more gear as I wanted to pull up more muscle, and flying faster at that. About half a day to Stalingrad, I spotted a peculiar sight. The super speedy Cider Squeezy 6000, with Flim and Flam riding it. Something didn't look quite right, though. It didn't look the same as I remembered. I motioned to Gilda as I wanted to take a closer look. We flew down, pushing the clouds down with us as cover. Man, being able to move clouds is awesome! Too bad we can't sleep up here because our gear isn't enchanted to stay up with us. Look at that, brother! The caravan was loaded with goods. You're right, dear brother. Who would have thought that bust we had in Ponyville would be the start of our new good fortune? You are correct, dear brother. With the super speedy cider squeezy speed, we were able to hit that group of merchant carts and make off with the goods lickety-split. I wonder if we'll get bounties for this. Flim and Flam, the famous bandit brothers. Sounds catchy, huh? Indeed it does. Why, pretty soon we'll be known over all of Equestria, respected and feared. Hey, Gilda. It looks like those two had a deal bust in Ponyville and have turned to a life of crime. So, what's it to you? She asked, annoyed. I'm letting you call this one. We can either leave them be, barter with them, although they sound like con artists, or kick their butts and take their ride. Scratch the last one. It looks like it's powered by their combined magic, and they said they don't have bounties. If we take them down, they'll twist it and make us the criminals, pinning the blame on us for robbing those merchants. So do we trade the stolen goods, or do we pass? We got everything we need. I don't like ponies, and those guys are just as likely to try and rob us. Pass, she said, not wanting to put up with more Pierres, especially given the annoying way they spoke. I'm inclined to agree. They wouldn't do for combat experience anyway. If they needed to work together to move that thing, they're probably not too powerful. Let's give them a little surprise instead. What did you have in mind? She asked. I whispered to her ear and she got a devilish smirk. Pushing my cloud down at the pair of con artists, it clung to the ground, making a dense fog. Brother, I can't see anything outside this fog. Where did it come from? No idea, brother. Let's get out of here. I can't see the road, brother. I don't know where to go. Suddenly, the fog was gone as Gilda emptied her rain cloud out on the pair, drenching them. They looked absolutely miserable. They looked to the sky and in the distance saw a pair of bird-like creatures, and could have sworn they heard laughter. Well, that was fun. What now? Well, now I know that rather than just scum, there's actually crime here in Equestria, too. Probably not too much, though. Given that this is a utopia, there aren't going to be many who risk getting kicked out of it. What about you? She inquired. Well, becoming a wanted criminal would definitely make things more difficult, but at the same time, I'm pretty sure at some point we're going to have to commit crimes. Like with these books. I couldn't buy them, and writing them meant staying in town for a very long time to read through it all. Neither option would work, so I broke the rules. I'll probably get off easy. I only took, 6 books, and I had a feeling Twilight won't miss them. Or can at least easily replace. This way, I get the books we need, and we don't have to worry about memorization. As for other, more serious law-breaking, we'll just make sure that we don't get caught, won't we? After all, humans are masters of cunning, stealth, and deception. So I'm teaching you martial arts. You feel like teaching me how to use a sword? Gilda suggested. Nah, a big sword like this doesn't really suit your style, and smaller ones won't really be effective given our anatomy. It's perfect for a big, bumbling oaf like me, but for you, it lacks finesse. You probably like a bow better. Attack from afar, precise, and unseen. Can't have 2 heavy hitters. Here, I'll explain the standard combat triangle. You've got up-close and personal tanks, meat shields basically. They take hits like nothing, but are left open to precision. Then you have fast and precise rogues, assassins, or rangers. They can get in, deliver a lethal strike, and then get out. Brawlers like me have a tough time dealing with them because we're slower and they just dart around us. Like how Rainbow Dash kicked your butt? She gave a snide remark. Don't remind me. Anyway, the exception is if we're heavily armored, and they can't get through the thick skin. No matter how fast you are, if you can't get through the defense, you're screwed. The final point in the combat triangle is specialists. Spellcasters, potion users. They are weak and slow, but have some devastating abilities, like D-Dog knockout gas or explosives or unicorn magic. Area of effect abilities won't do jack against an armored target. They'll just power through it, while debilitations such as acid to eat away the armor or knockout gas are effective because it's almost a guaranteed hit. Those things won't work on the fast fighters because they'll just dodge, so instead when facing a fast opponent, specialists should use area of effect or guided attacks. They don't do as much damage, but the low armored rogues can't take that much of a beating anyways, so it's better at getting a grazing hit than missing with a strong one. So you just rush in, give them the beatdown while I pick them off from afar? She was starting to understand. Yep, but we do have a problem. We don't have the specialist. For this to work effectively, we need a third group member, Gilda proclaimed. Under normal circumstances, yes. I, however, am highly abnormal. A brawler with a high intelligence? Very rare. See these books? Herbology and potions for the budding alchemist and practical chemistry? Perfect for making our own things. Sleeping gas, smoke bombs, poisons, flash bombs, whatever. Both of us can use them. Meaning, while I'm a melee fighter and you are a ranger, we can both double as specialists. Specialists are the hardest to deal with because they're unpredictable. If I toss a flash bomb into a group of enemies while they're disoriented, I can run in and smack them around while you pick them off unseen. If they get too close to you for comfort, and you can't handle them in close quarters, you throw a smoke bomb and escape. It means we have to analyze each situation carefully, but I think we're more than capable of doing that. You think of everything, don't you? She asked. Just about. Other than those, I got books on the jungle and volcanic waste, because we'll be heading there, as well as on the Ring Sea, as we'll be sailing on it, and a book on diamond dogs so I can learn more about how their society functions, what to expect from them, blah blah blah. What about these ones on metals and gems? Gilda inquired. Once we've got a base of operations set up, some workers, and have resources like gems and metals on our stockpiles, we're going to want to start using it to make better weapons and armor, among other things. Once we've got ourselves going, I'm going to rush civilization straight to the industrial age. I didn't think I should because of the pollution, but given the state on the Dominion and Badlands are in anyway, and the fact that magic can be used to clean up, I think we can safely pull it off without risking climate change. Still, I'm going to be careful with what knowledge I give away. My home went too far with a lot of its tech, and some things are better left not being known. Like the power capable of destroying the planet, she asked. Yeah, that's one thing that should never have been made. Luckily, the rest of this world lacks the ingenuity to go nuclear, so I'll be carrying the secrets to my grave. I have no desire to watch the world burn. Dear Princess Celestia, when is a door not a door? Sincerely, Griffin.